everyone, so welcome back. If you watch my previous video, we have already created dynamic form with React, and in this video we are going to just still play around with form, but now we are going to create multi-step form. And as you can see in here, this is the final project, and this is the names form. Let's fill all this field right here. So let's say Chan, last name Dev, nickname Chan. And down here we have next button. If I click that, you should be go to the address form. Of course, we can go back in names form as well. All right. So in address right here, let's say my address, city, just say my city, state, my state, zip 123123, and let's click next. Now we on contacts form. Okay, so I'm gonna put my real phone number so you can contact me. Okay, just call me, guys. All right. So for the email, let's say chan@dev.com. Let's click next. Now we on the review your data. In here we have three accordion: names, address, and contacts. If I click names, now we have all that information that we have already assigned in names form. That's for the address and the contacts as well. All right, so for example, I want to change the maybe state right here. I'm gonna change US, and when I click next, now that's updated. All right, of course you can update the first name and last name. You can do that as well. So I can just say John Doe, nickname Joe, and click next. Now there's update. If I click the submit button right here, now we have thank you for submitting, we will be in touch. And as you can see in the console right here, we have all that information that we have already sent. All right, so and we are going to use package called React Hooks Helper, and we're going to learn that in a second. So the first thing what we are going to do is I'm going to stop the final project, and let's create a folder called multi-step form. And in here you can create React app. You can just say npx create React app, and that will be generate React application in this current folder. All right, let's run the app. You can say yarn start, and let's remove couple file in here. I'm gonna remove the CSS, the app.test.js as well, and the logo as well. So let's go to index. We need to remove the index.css right here. Okay, save, and let's go to app. Let's remove the CSS and logo, and we need to get rid of this header right here. I just want to let's just say h1, say hello, save. So let's open the browser. We should see h1 hello. Okay, and let's create a folder. I'm gonna say components, and in here I'm gonna create a file called multi-step form. I'm gonna say multi-step form.js, and let's open a new terminal. I'm gonna install the React Hooks Helper. Okay, this thing right here. So we can say npm install React Hooks Helper. All right, so it's done. Let's go to package.json file. Now we have React Hooks Helper in here. Okay, so let's go back to multi-step form. We are going to create functional path component in here. So we can say rafc, enter, and let's add h1 in here. I'm gonna say multi-step form, save, and let's bring in the multi-step form in this app right here. So we can say import from dot slash components slash multi-step form. Okay, so let's grab the multi-step form and bringing in here. Now we should see a multi-step form in the browser. Here we go. All right. So we need to import use form and use step from React hooks helper. So we can say import from React hooks helper. What we are going to import is use form and use step. So inside the multi-step form function in here, I'm gonna say cons form data and set form, set that equals to use form, and let's paste the default, let's say default data, and let's create the default data in here. I'm gonna say cons default data, set that it equals to object in here, and we're gonna say first name empty string, last name empty string, nickname empty string. So now we know that form data have this value right here, this object right here. Let's use the use step right here. So I can say cons step and navigation set equals to use step, and I'm going to put object inside in here and just give a name steps. That's all the step that we want to create. So let's say cons steps set that equals to array, and inside in here I have ID, let's say names. Let's copy and paste that a couple times, change this into address, should be contact, review, and submit. And let's bring in initial step in here, set it to 0. What the meaning about 0? So let's try to console.log the step, which is the step right here. Okay, so let's see what we have in the console. Now we should see ID names, okay, which is the first object inside this array. If I change the initial step to 1, now there should be address. All right, so in here we need to create some condition. Say let's make back to 0, and I'm going to use switch in here. Let's say step.id because I want to access the ID names right here. Okay, this thing right here. So if we have case the step.id is names, I want to return, let's say names. I'm going to create a folder inside the components. Let's say step form, and inside this folder I'm going to create names JS, and let's generate functional base component RIFC, and let's change that into, I want to capital first, so names, and bringing h1, and let's say names, and let's import that into multi-step form. Let's do import names from /step form /names. Save. Now we should see names. Okay, that's because the initial step is 0. Okay, if that's 1, of course the address in here will be a fire. So let's make a case to address. We need to return address. Okay, let's make a case to contact. We need to return contact. If the case is review, we need to return review. Okay, if the case is submit, we need to return the submit component. Okay, so let's try to create all these components inside a step form. So let's say address.js. Let's create a contact.js. Let's create a review. And the last is submit. And just copy that, and I'm going to paste in address, and let's change that into address. Let's go to contact and change that into contact, and review, and the last thing is submit. Save. Now we should still see names, but if I change the initial step to, for example, 1, now we should see address. Oh, of course, we don't yet import that. Let's copy that and change this into address. Wait. And this thing right here into contact. And this is for the review. And the last thing is submit. Okay, so now save, we should see address now. Here we go. If I change the initial step to, for example, 3, now we should see 0, 1, 2, 3 review, right? So let's save, and here we go. We have review. That's the step work basically. Let's make the initial state back to 0. Gonna save. Now we should see names. Okay, so let's go to names component in here, and before that we need to install Material UI. So let's go to Material UI documentation, and we need to install that. Just wait. Just copy this thing right here, and let's paste in here. Enter that. And also we need to grab the font right here. Let's go to public index. Let's put in here, and we need to grab the font icons as well. So let's put in here, save, and just close the index.html. And we need to install the SVG icons. What happened in my mouse? Copy and wait for that. It's done, so let's paste and run the icons again. Alright, so it's done. Let's import. For the first time, I want to import container. Let's say container from Material UI /core/container, and we need to import the text field. It should be from Material UI /core/text field. Alright, so let's get rid of this div right here. I want to wrap everything inside a container, and let's give a head tree and just say names, and I want to put the text field in here, text field. So let's try to save, and we should see just name and input in the browser. Here we go. So now What I want to do is go back to multi-step form, and we need to send the form data, set form, and the navigation into the each individual component in here. Okay, we need to send that as a property. So we need to create cons, just give a name props, so that it goes to form data, set form, and navigation. Okay, we need to put that in here. I'm using spread operator, so I can say props like so. So let's copy this thing right here and paste that inside address, inside contact, inside review, and the last thing is submit. So now save, and let's go back to names and let's grab the props. I want to console.log the props. Okay, save, and now we should see everything that we have sent right here. All right, and as you can see in here in the form data, we have all that value, which is the default data is come from here. Okay, so let's go back, and I want to make styling in here. Let's give a label into first name, give a name into first name, and value set that equals to basically I want to restructuring the property in here. What we send in here, form data, set form, and navigation, I believe. Navigation. Okay, of course we can access the first name by say form data dot first name. All right, so let's say form data dot first name, or we can just say cons first name, last name, and nickname, so that equals to form data. Okay, so we can just use the variable and put that in here. Okay, it's do the same thing, by the way. So let's try to save and see. Here you go. We have this is basically a empty string by default. As you can see in multi-step form, we set it to empty string. If I change that to Chan, now we should see Chan right here. Okay, so I just want to show that. So let's go back to the names. Let's give a margin to normal. Wait, margin to normal, and variant into set it equals to outline, and I'm gonna say autocomplete into off, and I want to say full width like so. Now save, and let's see what we have. Okay, so let's give a maximal width in container right here. You can say maximal width. I'm gonna set that into extra small. Save. Now it should be something like that. Okay, awesome. I want to make that smaller. Close that. This is for the first name. Of course, we need to grab the last name and nickname. So let's just copy this text field right here, make it 2 field, and this is should be last name, the value, last name, and everything is same. This should be nickname. The name should be nickname, value, nickname, and everything same. Now save, we should see 3 input field. Okay, awesome. So let's add a button down here. So we need to import that first. Let's say import button from material UI / core / button, and we need to use down here. You can say button and give a text next. Save, and now we should have button down here. Okay, so let's styling that a little bit. Variant, I'm gonna say content and give a full width. And let's change the color into primary. Save. Now we should have a beautiful button. Wait, full width. Save. Bam. And we need to add margin top. I want to give a just inline style in here. Just say margin top into say 1 rem. Save. Yeah, something like that. I want to show you something cool. So let's just console.log the, for example, first name. Okay, we know that first name by default is empty string, so we know that in here it should be empty string. Okay, so I want to handle the onChange event in this first name. So I can do in here, let's say onChange, set that equals to set form, and that's it. Okay, if I just do this now, if I type in something in the first name right here, now as you can see in the console, the first name right here is come from data right here, it's updated. So we don't need to create another function to handle that, because that's the beauty about this package. All right, so the important thing is you need to have the same name as default data in here. Where is that? Right here. All right, if I change that, it's not gonna work. If I change the, for example, a first name without camel case, just first name like so, now it's not gonna work. If I type in something, I cannot type in anything in here. Okay, just make sure you have the same name attribute with the name default data in here. Okay, so now every time I click the next button right here, I want to go to another form, which is the address. Okay, so what we need to do is just so very simple. Basically, I just want to console.log the navigation and show that what we have in navigation. See, we have go, next, pause, play, and previews. What we are going to use is basically a next right here. So in the button in here, I just can say on click event, on click set that equals to navigation dot next, and we need to invoke that. So now when I save and I click, oh yeah, we need to say arrow function in here, save. Now let's click the next. It should be go to the address. Okay, pretty awesome. Let's refresh that. Okay, so now I want to go to the address. I think it's will be very similar, so we can just maybe copy this thing right here and paste that in here. And also we need to the text field, copy, and let's change that into container first, and just give a maximal width into extra small, and we need to head 3. It should be address, and put the text field in here. All right, so it should be, let's go to the multi-step form. We need to add another data in here. So let's say address, set that to empty string, city, empty string, zip, I forget the state, and for the contact we need to phone and email. Okay, so let's just close the multi-step form. Let's go to address. We need to grab the property, so we can just copy this thing right here. Basically do the same thing. So let's paste in here. The label, it should be address, name, address, value. Let's create cons, address, city, state, and zip. Set it equals to a form data. Okay, if I console this everything in here, it should be empty string. So now let's change the value into address. Everything is same. Now let's see. Next, here we go. But imagine that you have to click next every time you're changing something. So we need to go back to multi-step form and change the initial step into 1. The meaning what that is, it should be go to the address right here. Here we go. Now every time I reload, it should still go to the address. Okay, that's what we want now. So let's go back to address. All right, so let's grab the text field, and I want to copy and paste 3 more times. And let's change the label into what is city, and the name, let's say city, value city, and yeah, everything is same. Let's go down here. It should be state, name state, value state, and everything same. And this is for the zip. Let's change the label into zip, name zip, and value zip. And I want to change the type into a number. Save. Now we should see a beautiful form in address. Okay, awesome. So the next thing is we need to create 2 buttons, back and next button. So let's do in here. I want to bring in the button that we have already imported from the material UI. So the text is should be a back, and this is should be next. Now we should see a button back and next. Let's styling that, and I'm gonna give a color so that it equals to secondary, and wait, secondary. And for the variant set that equals to contained. And let's just copy everything in here and paste down here, and it should be, yeah, same, but the color, let's say primary. Save, and here we go. I like to give a margin right in the back right here. Let's just give a style, just inline style, and margin right, set that equals to, I don't know, 1 rem. Save, something like that. You know what, I want to put inside a div like so, and in div right here I want to give a style and just give a margin top. margin top into 1 rem and bringing the button inside the div like so. Save, and yeah, something like that. Now it's not work, but let's make that work. If a back, we need to on click set that equals to navigation dot I forgot. Let's just console.log the navigation. Yeah, we need to just comment on click in here. We need to use previews. Yeah, previews. It should be navigation dot previews. We invoke the function, and we need to say arrow function in here. Okay, for the next, we need to using next. So let's do in here, say on, just paste in here, and this should be next. Okay, save, and now that should be work. When I go back, it should be go to names. When we next, it should be go to contact. Okay, pretty simple. So now let's go to contact, but I just want to copy this thing right here and paste in here. I want to copy this thing right here and paste in here like so, and yeah, just bringing the container and add maximal width into extra small and head tree. This should be a contact. And text field, I just want to copy that. All right, so let's bring in here, and let's say cons. We need to grab the phone and email, set that to form data, like so. So now let's change the address into phone, name, phone, and the value, of course, same, everything same. So let's just copy this thing right here, paste that down here. Let's change this into email, mail, name email, value email, and everything same. Okay, now we should see a beautiful contact form. Okay, but now we need to styling the button. So let's go to address, and we need to just copy this thing right here. Okay, let's go to contact and let's paste in here like that. So now next, and when I click back, it should be go back to the address. Next, preview. Awesome. So let's go to the address. I want to remove the console like so. I want to close that and just close the names. Now we work in the review file. So let's import couple things from material UI. I'm gonna import container from at material UI /core/container, and let's get rid of this div right here. I'm gonna put the container in here and give a history and say a review. And basically I'm gonna create another functional pass component down here. I'm gonna say render accordion and set that equals to arrow function, and just return JJSX in here. I forget the cons, say cons. And let's import accordion from material UI. I'm going to import accordion from add material dash UI slash core slash accordion, and just copy and paste that. I'm gonna import accordion summary. It's come from accordion summary, and just import accordion details. It's come from accordion details, like so. So let's bring in the accordion inside in here. You can say accordion, and let's bring in the accordion summary, put that in here, wait, in here, and I'm going to call this component inside this review right here. So I can just say like that, and I'm gonna send a summary as a property in here, just say names, so we can grab this summary inside this thing right here. We can grab that. So summary, we know that the summary right here is have a value names. Okay, so we need to showing in here, so summary. So now save. Let's see in the browser. Let's just change the initial tab into 0, 1, 2, 3. We need to say 3. Save. Now we should see names. All right, so we need to give a, where is my container? Of course, in here. I'm gonna give a maximal weight into small. Here we go. So let's add the accordion detail down here. You can say accordion detail, and I'm gonna create a div in here, and let's just send details. I'm gonna send array. Inside this array I have object, and just say first name, set it into first name. The first name in here is come from the property, which is come from form data. Okay, so let's destructuring down here. We can say cons, set that equals to form data, and let's just copy the default data in here. You can just copy and paste that right here. Just remove the empty string, Control D, and save. Now the first name is come from this thing right here. Okay, so let's just give a comma and paste 2 more time. This should be last name and nickname, and change that into last name and nickname. All right, so let's grab the details property. Let's give a comma and say details, wait, details, and let's just console.log the detail first, so we can see console.log details, and let's see in the browser, nothing really. Details. Oh, here we go. We have object with 3, we have array with 3 object inside in here. Okay, pretty cool. So what we need to do in here is just a map through this detail array. So we can say details dot map. We need to grab the data in the index and just console.log in here. The idea is I want to grab the object key right here, the first name, last name, and nickname. So how that we can do that? So let's try to just console.log. I'm going to console.log object dot keys, and I'm going to put data inside in here and the first value. So let's try to save, and let's see what we have in the console. See, we have the first name, last name, and nickname, which is the key in this object file object right here. All right. So that's what we want. So let's put the object key inside a object key variable, set that equals to this thing right here. All right, so let's create another variable, just say object value, set that equals to data, and we need to grab the value. It depends on the key we have. Okay, so paste in here. All right, so down here I want to return a list item tag. This comes from a material UI, so let's do import list item tags. It should be a from material UI slash core slash list item tags. Should be lowercase. Just copy that, and we need to return down here. So return list item tags, and we need to bringing the object key and object value inside in here. So I want to use a backtick. So let's do object key, and we need to say object value. Okay, so let's try to save and see what we have. When I click the names right here, we should have all that information in here. The value now is empty. All right. The next thing is I want to add an edit button down here. So let's import the icon button. As you can see, icon button from add material UI slash core slash icon button. And I want to import the edit icon. So say edit icon from material UI slash icon slash edit, I believe. Okay, so let's use the icon button. We need to use in here like so, and inside the icon button I want to put the edit icon like so. And when I save, let's see, now we have the icon. Cool. So let's styling that a little bit. I'm going to change the color, by the way. So let's change the color into primary and say component into span. Okay, save, and now here we go. Awesome. So let's call this render accordion 2 more time because we have address and contact. So let's do down here. Let's change the summary into address and the object key right here into address, the value address, and it should be city, value city, and state, value state, and we need to the zip, value zip. And this thing right here, it should be contact. And let's change the object key into pawn, value pawn, and this should be email, value email. So let's try to save and see in the browser. Now we should have names, address, and contact. All right. But we don't have the icon in here, the expand icon. So let's try to import that. Let's do import expand more icon from add material dash UI slash icon slash expand more. Okay, so let's just copy this thing right here and go to where is the accordion summary, and we need to say icon, no icon, it should be expand icon, and set it equals to the expand more icon. Okay, so let's try to save and see in the browser. Now we have the icon. All right, so awesome, cool. So let's add a button in here. I'm gonna create a button. So let's import a button from material UI. Let's say import button from add material dash UI slash core slash button. Wait, button. And I'm going to put the button in here. Let's say button and give a tag submit, and let's styling that. I'm going to change the color into primary and give a variant into contained. Save, and let's see, we should have a button. I'm going to push that more down, so let's add inline style, so that equals to give a margin top, set that equals to 1.5 rem. Save, and let's see, here we go. In the console we have warning, so let's fix that. The list item tags, it should have a key, and set that equals to index, come from right here. Save. Now the warning is gone. Okay, so wait, we have some warning again in here. You can fix this problem. Just go to index.js and you can remove the React strict mode right here, like so, and now it should be fine. Okay, no warning, no error. The next thing is I want to make this button work. So if I click the icon, edit icon right here, it should be go to names form. So how that we can do that? Let's close the index. I want to go to review and let's grab the navigation, and let's destructuring the navigation. I'm gonna say cons. I'm gonna use go and set it equals to navigation. All right, so let's send the go method right here into the property go, set it equals to go, and let's just copy this thing right here and paste that in here and in here, so we can use that. Wait, so we can use that down here. Okay, you can just grab the go, and we need to use in the icon button right here. So let's add a on click event in here. Say on click, set that equals to, I'm gonna give a arrow function and just run the go method. And when I click the icon button, which is the edit button, I want to go to just say names. All right, so let's try to save, and when I click the names and click the edit right here, it should be a go to names form. If I reload, it should be go to review, and I'm going to click in address. Now we on names. Okay, we need to fix that. So I'm going to use backtick in here and just grab the summary, which is summary in here. And remember the summary in here have first is uppercase. We need to change that to lowercase, so we can just say dot to lowercase like that. So now save, and when I go to name, it should be on the names. If I go to address, it should be go to the address and the contact as well. So next thing is when I click the submit, I want to go to the submit page. So let's do in here, let's add on click set that equals to arrow function in here. Let's just say go, and should be go to submit form. Save and just change the initial step back to 0, and let's see. So let's try to fill all this field right here. I'm gonna say Chan, first name, last name, Dev. Wait, is it not working? So let's see. Basically we need to, I forget that guys, listen for on change event in here, and down here as well, really, like so. Now save, and let's try to say chant, oh, chant dev chant, and when I click next, it should be go to address. Let's say my address, my city, state, say my state. State does not work. Oh, what happened? Let's go to address. Where's the address? Oh, really? Let's just copy, and where's the address? State. Stay. What? State. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, beautiful tutorial. Let's say Chand Dev nickname. I'm gonna say Chand. Next should be go to address. Say my address, city, my city, state, my state, zip 123 and I click next, should be good to contact, and let's fill my real number and my real email, chant@dev.com, and click next. Now we on the review. Now as you can see in here, we have all that information that we have already sent. Okay, of course you can back to names if you click the edit right here, or I'm gonna try the contact, and let's change the phone number, and it's updated. Okay, if I click the submit, should be go to the submit form. So let's go to submit right here. So let's import a container from add material-ui/core/container, and let's get rid of this div right here. We need to put the container in here, say container, and let's give a history and just say thank you for submitting, we will be in touch. Okay, and just give a maximal width into small, and give a style, set that equals to, just want to give a margin top, just say for RAM. Okay, now save, and let's see. I'm going to just random name, I don't know, just next, and now we have all that information, and when I click submit, see we have thank you for submitting, we will be in touch. So I think that's it for this video. I hope you learn something new from this video, and thank you so much guys, and I'm gonna see you in very next video, I hope, and bye.